public meeting. Anyone acting in a disruptive, disorderly, or threatening manner will be asked to leave and may be precluded from participating in future opportunities for public comment. Please be courteous and respectful. Please turn off or mute all cell phones and pages. Again, welcome for being here. Appreciate it. Council appreciates it. City Administrator appreciates it. City Finance Director appreciates it. All right, first up is public comment. Gene Hellman.
I just got a couple questions. Can anybody tell us what's going on with the industrial park? Are we ever going to get anybody there? Or we've got any prospects? Or, I mean, you know, we need to know that once in a while here after 20 years. You think we'd start doing something. And then the other thing I've got, another question I got is, I've heard through the grapevine, I don't know how true this is, that there are perks being passed around to certain members of, not the city council, I don't think it's a city council anyway, but fire department, chief of police, and whatever else, are getting their water bills for free. Is that correct?
No.
No.
No. Can I take a minute on that real fast, Ron? What occurred is at a administrative committee meeting, an open meeting, okay, we discussed this issue. What the issue is back in September of 2011, that was taken away from all of the department heads, okay. None of us have it. We've been paying our bills. Okay. However, because that was given to those department heads in lieu of salary, okay, what the discussion is now is, what is that salary going to be to plug that hole? So no one is getting their water for free, and I have no intent of asking this council for that either. So.
Very good. Okay, my question, again, it still applies. The chief just moved up to your position, so he definitely must have a raise already from just the position that he holds. This fire chief, unfortunately, he didn't remove anybody, so I guess he's just okay. But you know, I just don't. It doesn't seem fair to me that some of these people should get this, and the rest of us are going to pick up the tab for that. So.
And I agree with you, and that's why the decision was made back in September 11th for no one to get it, and no one is getting it. Since that decision was made, no one is getting it, and I have not asked, and I have not asked this council to do that.
Perfect.
I can't make that decision on my own. I have to ask them.
Okay, I just asked.
I never got it.
I'm just saying. Well, I'm sorry, you moved up at the wrong time.
Anyway, so the answer is no.
That's all I wanted. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Gene. Industrial park? Shall we?
Please.
Somebody want to answer that? I don't know.
Yes.
I'll answer that for you. There is activity. There are a lot of times where people come to town or make an inquiry and they ask it to be kept confidential until the agreement is signed. There have been, there is interest, and there continues to be interest, and we probably have more interest right now than we've ever had in the last 20 years. But some of these communications, again, because of the client is asking us to keep confidential. I was involved in a meeting last week with a group that it looks very positive, and they move here. It would be a huge benefit for us as a community because they're talking 20 professional jobs. And it would be a win-win for both of us. But again, we can't name names until things get down the road. But no, there's activity, and there's people inquiring. People make inquiries all the time. But some of the things that we have are limitations out there, are power, lack of natural gas, and some of our water issues out there. So those, sometimes we just got to go, sorry, thanks, but no thanks. We can't serve your purpose. So.
Okay, thank you. All right, 3.0, Mayor and Council comment.
I just wanted to let everyone know I emailed you my website proposal. It's very preliminary, just to kind of let you know what I'm looking at and what I'm thinking about doing, and to kind of just test the waters that you guys are feeling comfortable with the direction I'm headed, and I can move forward with getting a little more of the financial data and gathering a little more information for you about what our options would be for the website.
And that is, was brought to my attention, that's an operations issue, so it needs to be through the city administrator.
It was a great presentation.
It was very good.
Yes.
Oh, I have a hard copy.
I would say go for it.
Did you send me a copy?
I did, but it was a while back, and I didn't send you another one. I could, yeah, I don't know if you got it.
I didn't.
Okay, I'll resend it to you. And
Thank you.
All right. Yes.
I was just giving her a thumbs up, yes.
Any other counselor comments?
An update on Amtrak? Would you want me to do that later?
We can do it now, or we can do it later.
Well, I can do it now. We had our meeting, Amtrak meeting, and things are progressive day to day. I had a big discussion with Bruce Hanna and Floyd Brzezinski before the meeting, Brzezinski, however you pronounce it. And they are both very, very supportive, are willing to do whatever they can to help with this process. And they both want to be on the mailing list and want to be kept in the loop. And we will be having another meeting February 21st here.
Good.
Thank you, Counselor. Okay, moving on to additions, corrections, or adjustments to the agenda.
It would be, Your Honor, 6.5. Did everyone get the council order that the city recorder sent you? It was an additional item.
An email, yeah.
Did you get the email, Your Honor?
Oh, yeah, on
On the transfer of the donor money?
the, no,
You didn't get that. You didn't get that one. Can we get it?
When did you get it? I don't think I did.
I saw the email.
I sent it out an email 2 days ago, and then earnings is up in his box up there.
Can we'll grab Ernest and make some copies.
Yeah.
We'll make some hard copies for those of you. Or do you have a copy here?
I have one copy, yeah. This was the last one.
I have the email, but
No, up top. Okay.
Is this just a transfer of IGHM?
Yes. There's the.
Whoever did. He's gonna make a couple copies for council.
how many do we need?
How much money was it?
Well, she's going to tell you. Yeah, did you get her email?
Yes.
It should tell you on there what it is.
Yeah, it
You don't have a dollar.
you didn't put a dollar amount on there?
There should have been an attachment, yeah.
On the attachment.
Yeah, I have.
Oh, page 2.
That's the one.
I'll try and get all on page next time.
We're new at this.
Yeah, this electronic stuff.
Right. As the audience can see, we're trying to minimize the use of trees. Okay. Most of the councils are bringing their own devices at this time. Hopefully in the future we can provide them for them, but for now, they're willing to bring their own.
The clarification, paper is a byproduct of lumber. It is the trees are generally in Oregon not cut for the production of paper only. They'll say it all my forestry. Yeah. That's good.
Hi.
We got lots of trees, Lou. Let's cut them all down. We need another mill here.
We're just moving
For the focus.
Oh, yes, I did. It wouldn't, if you couldn't print it, yeah. It's because I was too new a version of Excel. I'll fix it. Thank you.
Councilor Baser would like to drop that a little on council comments if you don't mind.
We've been working on that ditch of Mr. Committee for some time, and I think you were at the meetings. That's there about a month ago. And again, today, I talked to Mr. Land, and there's another outfit that wants to come in, you know, that he's working on. This fish business, I think, is pretty well wrapped. I think it's pretty well kaput. You know, and we've really been trying for the last 3, 4, 5, 6 months on this water thing. And now they come in with this recommendations outfit that I have no idea who they are. They come up with this recommendation that the Forest Service come up with, that they kind of go for a pump that pumps 5,000 gallons a minute, whatever it is, and they'd probably help us put it in, but they don't want to disturb that tunnel, and I do not know why. You know, that it's a tough
Right.
and this is that way they could probably keep the thing full up there, you know, with water. But that thing's going to take a lot of water, you know. And I'm glad you're working on that too, because we're working on both things, and so is Larry Pitts. And it's just a hard job, you know. And every time we think we've got somebody, they don't write you, they don't do nothing. It's just, you know, that's all we do is job there, you know.
Right.
John's going to come in with another meeting with the Forest Service, and that's what the Forest Service recommended to him this last week. Were you at that meeting last week, Larry? With John?
I've been at everyone, yeah.
Anyway, he had a meeting with somebody, and he said that the Forest Service recommended that we do that with pumps. Just heck with the ditch.
May I interject, please? Where we're at, council, and jump in any time if I miss anything. Where we're at is the steering committee has come up with at least 4 different recommendations, okay? And those recommendations have been sent to our stakeholders, okay? And that's about 20, at least 20 different stakeholders, Department of State Lands, DEQ, the wetlands folks, all those folks. So we have forwarded those recommendations to the stakeholders for their comments first, okay? So yes, the steering committee came up with 4 recommendations, but none of them have been presented by priority at this point, I don't believe, until we get further information from our stakeholders. Once we get that back, then at that time the steering committee will get back together and we will present our final proposal by priority to the council. So the steering committee has not come up with a specific proposal at this point until we get feedback from our stakeholders. That open.
Thank you, Councilor Basil. Back to the additions, corrections, or adjustments to the agenda, which we finally got in front of us here. Or I did it.
I'm looking at the consent.
Can we do that part? Now we're still up on 4.0. We were moving this to 6.3, was it?
6.5.
6.5. Are there any other additions, corrections, or adjustments to the agenda? Alrighty, now we're going to the consent agenda 5.0.
Oh, I just have a little housekeeping thing on that. The Oakridge Tree Planting Festival website was wrong in the minutes last week. It's supposed to be oakridgetreeplantingfestival.com. It just says oakridgetreeplanting.com. So, just a little housekeeping thing.
Okay, how do we fix that? Just fix it. So with that change, I'll entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda. Okay.
Oh, no, I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded this consent agenda. Call for the vote.
Mayor Short,
Aye.
Councilor Basler, Councilor Cody,
Aye.
Councilor Fortune,
Aye.
Councilor Clark,
Aye.
Councilor Bickerstaff,
Aye.
Councilor Slavin.
Aye.
Motion carries. Alrighty, moving on down into 6.0, 6.1 City Administrator's Report.
All right, now I'll give me a second and I'll get there. I'm slowly going through these here.
What happens if we pull that big round thing off the wall? What do you see?
Hair blows out.
The wires fall out. The camera.
Not quite there yet. All right. Report on as far as the bond, I want to try to bring everyone up to speed on that so that people understand what it is I'm being asked for each time I have to send something in. Every time that the bonding company contacts me, they are asking me for further justification, okay, on why we feel that we have been, I guess, hurt financially. I guess would be the simplest way to put it. And so what this lady does is she continues to ask me questions. So for example, what I forward are things like invoices, where, for example, for the forensic auditor, for layoff notices, those kind of things. So any documents that I can show, where we can show that we as a city have been damaged. So that's what this continuous request of documents is. So I know it's been going on a while, but I wanted to just remind people when I say they've asked me for something else, that's what they're asking me for. It's basically forcing us to further strengthen our case each time that they contact us. So I wanted to just get everyone back up to speed on that. Atherton. Initially, the city attorney's office was trying to go after Atherton through a judicial foreclosure, okay? They are having difficulty with the judicial foreclosure because the LLC that existed originally dissolved and everybody is in the wind, okay? So in a judicial foreclosure, they must physically serve these guys, okay? And they can't find them. So, next option is foreclosure by advertisement and sale, okay? With that foreclosure, if they make an attempt to find them and they can't find them, they can still move forward, okay? But under judicial foreclosure, they gotta find them. So, either one of them takes about 4 to 5 months to complete. However, the foreclosure by advertisement and sale is more straightforward, okay? And the questions that I had for the city attorney was, okay, fine, if we do foreclosure by advertisement and sale, I said, do we, the city, on behalf of the city, do we get to set the starting bid? The answer is yes, okay? And so that starting bid would be whatever's owed to us, different fees, back rent, all the different things, back mortgage payments, so all these things, okay? So, for example, I think it's in the area of 90,000, so we would request a starting bid at 90,000. Okay. Now, if someone might come in and say, well, look, I'll do 85, okay? That would be something to consider, but that's something for the council when we get there. Okay, so I'm recommending that we go by through the foreclosure by advertisement and sale. That's what I'm recommending. And you've already directed me to take care of this, so I just basically need a consensus on if you guys are okay with the advertisement and sale foreclosure process.
Is there a consensus?
I would say go for it.
Okay.
You have consensus.
All right, thank you. Okay. Let's see here. We've already covered the Salt Creek issue, so I think we've covered that. Thank you. Yes.
By covering it, this started out when Jim asked or said earlier that one of the things to consider when people are wanting to go into the industrial park was that we don't have the water, the power, all these other things that aren't available yet for them to be able to go in there. So obviously, one of the first things we can do is get water for them, correct?
Yes.
That's
Yes, we're working on the water issue, that is correct.
So it's not only a matter of fire water, but it's also water, and we're also having actually water shortage in this town, with the town needs water. So I don't really understand, I mean, I understand, but I don't know, as the city really needs to concern itself with what ODOT or anybody else wants over there on that canal. I think we need to put a well up there and get on the like for ourselves.
And we will be bringing those recommendations to you, Counselor, and that will be one of them. And the issue at hand is because there are so many fingers in the pie, so to speak. That is why we need the feedback back from all our stakeholders. For example, DEQ, like I said, Department of State Lands, and all those folks. Once we get that feedback, we as a steering committee will be in front of this council presenting the options, and you seven will be telling us what direction you want us to go.
Well, just out of curiosity, if we put a well in there, do we have to check with these other 20 people about putting the well in?
No, it's on property. The other part's not.
Yeah. Guys?
Counselor, what we've tried to do as a committee is to relieve you guys of all the process, of all the googly-gop of dealing with 20 different agencies, hours and hours of meetings, hours and hours of walking the ditch and doing all that stuff. We'll bring you the recommendations, so all you have to do is make the decision of what avenue you want to pursue. Because this is a very complicated and circuitous thing, and there are so many rules and regs by different agencies that it took us months to understand how all these players one player could kill anything that you do on that project with that water right. So you guys have had a group of people who have been willing to kind of get through the dishwater and give you a clean proposal to deal with.
And I appreciate that, Larry. I just don't understand. Oh, I mean, I do understand it. I would shut up and stay out.
Well,
I'm wondering if we couldn't get the information that was sent out to the stakeholders, just so we could start to familiarize ourselves with it.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, we're gonna get
have
it.
John
we
email
need
it
to delve into it a little
And
too.
that way we have it in advance, so we
Right.
can be
Right.
more
Yeah, because
understanding.
it is a big decision.
Oh,
And what we've also tried to do is to look at those options and figure out, is there a possibility that we can 100% fund one of those with grant money, not with, because we're real concerned about raising water rates in some of those options. Because I don't think now's the time to do that if we can avoid it. So we worked real hard trying to find the potential to grant this project if you take one of those choices, so that it can be funded by money that we don't have and we don't have to pay back.
I think I need to clarify my earlier comment to Mr. Hillman, is that I wasn't even referring to the canal. We've had people that have come to town and they have a set priorities of what they need as far as power or water or things like that, and sometimes we just cannot fulfill their need. I wasn't even talking about the canal issue, which is a very, like I said, circuitous, convoluted process that's been going on, and these guys are doing an amazing job of what they're doing and the meetings they've had and the walks and all this. I mean, this ODAC board or committee is unbelievable.
Yep.
Between what Larry and John and the others that are involved in it, they've done a huge amount of work for us, and need to have medals. But to clarify your comment and my comment to you is that people come with a request, and we have to be able to submit that request. Well, sometimes we just don't have the capacity to give them, and that's what they want.
At least we don't have to better, right?
So what you're telling me is what they bring us is unbelievable.
No, it's just sometimes people come with requests, they have a power outlay, they have a water outlay, they have this, they have that, and if we can't meet those criteria, we just have limitations.
That was my point. That was my point. We can't meet the water criteria pretty much anybody right now until we put in a well and do it.
Well, no, we have water capacity there.
Yes, we do.
Until we reach the point where we have to make a decision on it, and if we're gonna get the material in advance now, you can be studied at council for.
Is there any time frame commitment by these stakeholders to respond to this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. They were given a deadline. And what we will attempt to do is, in our presentation, we'll kind of go back and give you an overview of what process we've gone through so you can understand that, because that'll help you with that. Because when I got involved in this, it was simply that we got a problem with the ditch and we got a problem with that, and then find out that there's a lot of other things that come into play that keep you from doing what you think is a simple solution. It got very convoluted after a while. So
If you would send a
Yes,
summary report or something. Of
yes, and I have it, and I can forward it to you.
and then I'll give Ernie a hard copy of that report.
So yes, we can get that.
Anything else, City Administrator?
Yes, I had one last thing, had an ugly thing. As we know, we are all very happy that all the audits are done. Okay, so we are happy that they're done. And as we all know, as the budgets have been built without those audits, we've been building them in the dark. Okay. Well, the light has came on, and it's not green, it's red. Okay. So it's bleeding red. So probably the past 2 weeks, myself, city reporter, and then our consultant CPA, we've been going through the audits, trying to get a firm number to present to the council, and it looks like the number that we will be presenting will be in the area about 400,000. We've been going through, making some adjustments, going back, looking at all the debt in every single fund. Okay. And so next week, I would like to have a work session with council. And if y'all could possibly pick a date, and I want to try and have it down at the boardroom, down at the school boardroom, so we have enough room so everyone can listen to our discussions while we're talking. Okay. And but the primary area where the deficits are in is in your general fund and EMS is my big one. That's most of it. That's directly affecting us at this point. The OIP, it is, we believed when we started this budget year, we thought we had money in it, okay? When you go through all the analysis of all the years, okay, we got zero, okay, so.
Thank you.
So, well, you actually did have $107,000 in sales, so I've got to figure out with the account how that plays, so. That's where we're at, but it's looking like 200 and some change in one fund, 176,000 in another. But it was a lot worse when we started analyzing this a couple weeks ago. So. Your Honor, can you recognize?
Who? Terry.
Is that going to trigger the review by the budget committee? Is that dollar amount sufficient to trigger a review by the budget committee? Because I think it's like any adjustment over 10% or something like that.
Well, not necessarily. The answer that I've been told is no, is that the council can deal with this number.
Within the limitations. Okay.
Yeah, I checked, and I was always under the impression that it's 10%, but I've been told different by DOR, Department of Revenue, and by the accountant. So, yeah, I always thought it was a 10% trigger.
I think that's what it said in the
State budget law.
I thought that's what it said
Yeah,
in
so
state
they're
budget law.
telling me no, but we can check. If
We want to make sure that
if we need to, we will. If we don't, we're going to buzz through it, of course, with everyone watching and listening. But we need to at least get a supplemental budget done and get this all wrapped up. So because we're going to get ready to start the next budget process already. So we've got to get this one wrapped up first. So anyway, I'm going to need a date for next week, whatever's good for you all.
How about Thursday the 14th?
So,
Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day.
Joni, we heard that.